G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for episode 2 of Tales of the Jedi. Now again, I really don't like the idea that they've used the name Tales of the Jedi and ripped it off from the EU because they keep picking and choosing what they do take from the EU. Now, I did watch episode 1, you can check that out on my channel, but I do think that they had a couple of flaws in that in regards to making the Force like a superpower, making Ahsoka quite powerful in the Force in regards to being 1 year old and being able to actually manipulate a beast like that saber-toothed tiger that you saw in episode 1. I also feel like there was a bit of a downfall in the dialogue because of the subtitles. They didn't really give us the subtitles of when they were speaking in their native language. We do get to hear them speak in basic, of course, but they didn't actually give us any dialogue or anything from when they were speaking in their native language, and I felt like they really could have just put something in there. I know it is a made-up language, but they could have really just given us some context of what they were actually saying and all of that sort of thing. So like I said, you can go and check that out on my channel. Let's get into episode 2 and see what that actually has in store for us. Young Qui-Gon and a younger Dooku. I mean, we knew that we were getting these storylines, so... Again, the animation looks good. I do like this animation. Once again, we get to see more droids in this than we've seen in Andor. Qui-Gon doesn't have the braid. The Padawan braid. They all are. Jinx, Dooku. Tales of the Jedi. They really should have come up with their own name. Alright, I kind of liked that episode. I didn't really mind it. I thought that, again, there's a couple of issues that I do have with it. The fact that the son was saying, how could his father allow this to happen to his people? When they go out to face his father, when the senator shows up, why didn't they just release him if they truly believed that this is how he's thinking? He would have spoken to his father and probably saved a few of those people that originally got shot. Of course, the reason why they've done it this way, and it seems a little convoluted in this sense, is the fact that, of course, we need to see the dark side starting to come out of Dooku. And he needs to be able to see that the Republic isn't all it is like hyped up to be in regards to why is he protecting these people. Of course, the senator wants him to arrest all the people and save his son, but all they really should have done in this moment, when they were getting ready and aiming to start shooting and they had this little battle here, is release the son. The son, and of course, once they finally do release his son, they actually, it resolves the issue. Now, again, at the end of the episode, there is that bit where he goes, I wonder if this is going to actually make a change or resolve anything. And of course, we get the line, you're a much wiser man than I am, wherever that is here. You're a much wiser man than I, Qui-Gon Jinn, he says. And Qui-Gon thanks him for his teachings, but I understand why they needed to do this because, of course, they do need to show the downfall of Dooku. Now, I like the way that they portrayed Dooku in the Plagueis novel. I feel like that is... I mean, obviously, if you ask me, the EU is more canon than anything Disney will ever do. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world, and I can already see the people out there, the Disney seals out there, are going to be like, Dave Filoni's the savior of Star Wars and all of that kind of garbage. Like, just because they're portraying Dooku and they're doing this and it's done reasonably well within their canon or what they're wanting to do with Star Wars, that's fine. But again, you read the Plagueis novel and you really see what Dooku is actually feeling towards the Jedi, towards the Republic, and all of that sort of thing, and you really gauge how Palpatine essentially manipulates him to get him out of the Jedi Order and essentially on his side of things. And it really brings more credence to what happens in Revenge of the Sith. And again, if you read the Revenge of the Sith novel, you can see how badly Dooku was manipulated in doing what he was doing. He thought that he was doing the right thing in regards to leaving the Jedi Order in that sense. But again, I know why they needed to do it the way that they've done this. It's because they do need to see the dark side starting to come out of Qui-Gon, and the fact that he's starting to see flaws in the Republic, the corruption in the Republic, and all of that sort of thing. Now, I think this is way too early for there to be any manipulation from Palpatine in that sense. But again, if you really want to get a great realization of how Dooku is actually feeling, read both the Plagueis novel and the Revenge of the Sith novel, and it really gives you a great idea, like I said, of how corrupt Palpatine is in regards to manipulating Dooku in that sense. Again, not a bad episode. I like the animation style again. I feel like they could have been cleaned up in a couple of scenes. The characters here at the end, these guys talking, like, I felt like that was a bit poor there. These two characters on the side. I know that they're trying to show them that they're a bit poor and gaunt and all of that sort of thing, but it could have been polished up a little bit better in a couple of those things. But again, in this, we're seeing more droids, more aliens than we're seeing in Andor, at least. I will say this definitely feels a lot more Star Wars than in both episodes, the first and this episode, a lot more Star Wars than the others, but than Andor. And again, I really don't like the whole idea of them ripping off the name Tales of the Jedi from the EU, from basically a comic book series that tells tales of the Jedi from the Old Republic era. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this episode. It is nice to see a young Qui-Gon. It is nice to see a young Dooku. And I can already see the Disney seals out there, as I like to call them, going crazy over this stuff. And it's nothing to go crazy over. It's just fine for Disney, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of episode 2 in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.